I discovered my husband and my own sister were stealing my company at the exact moment they asked me to bless their engagement. They were standing in my living room, holding hands, smiling like I was supposed to be happy for them. For a few seconds, I genuinely thought it was a joke, some cruel misunderstanding, some twisted celebration I hadn't been warned about. Then I saw the ring. It was mine, not similar, not inspired by. Mine. The diamond I had sold my first cafe to buy, back when I still believed sacrifice built loyalty. My name is Lina Cortez. I was 35 the night my family decided I was worth more as an obstacle removed than as a woman they loved. My mother was already sitting at the dining table. A stack of legal papers rested neatly beside her wine glass. She didn't look surprised to see me. She looked relieved. "You're finally home," she said. "We didn't want to start without you." Start what? The question stayed trapped in my throat because something inside me already understood. Mateo stepped forward. He had that careful expression he used when pitching investors. Soft voice, measured breathing, the performance of a reasonable man. "Lina," he said, "this is going to sound difficult, but it's actually good for everyone." Valeria squeezed his hand. I noticed her nails were done in the salon I used to pay for. Her dress was one I had ordered online and never received. Little details, little thefts I had excused for years because family was supposed to share. "Good for who?" I finally asked. No one answered directly. Instead, my mother slid the papers toward me. Transfer of controlling shares, reassignment of marital assets, temporary custodial review in the interest of the child. The words blurred together. Everything I had built in 12 years, 5 cafes, 2 rental properties, the small roasting factory that still smelled like hope in the mornings, reduced to signatures waiting for my hand. "You've been under pressure," Mateo continued. "We all see it. You're tired, emotional, making unstable decisions." Unstable. I almost laughed. For 10 years I had paid his debts, saved his failed ventures, kept creditors from knocking on our door. Stability had always been my job. Valeria finally spoke. "You should be grateful we're doing this privately," she said. "If lawyers get involved, it could get ugly." Ugly. The room was already suffocating with it. I turned to Mateo again. "You're engaged to my sister," I said slowly, "and you want my business." He nodded once, like we were discussing weather. "It's not just business," he replied. "It's survival. You're dragging us down." Something hot cracked open inside my chest. Not heartbreak, recognition. All those years I thought I was protecting them. I was only teaching them how much they could take. My phone vibrated. A banking alert lit the screen. Ownership change request initiated. Majority approval pending. Pending. Meaning they had already started the process. Meaning tonight was just the final push. My mother lifted her glass and smiled. "Sign now," she said, "or tomorrow we tell the court you're not fit to raise your son." The threat landed with surgical precision. For the first time, Mateo's confidence faltered, not because he felt guilty, but because he needed my fear to finish the deal. I looked around the room, the house I bought, the furniture I chose, the family I believed I had. Then I felt something shift, a quiet, dangerous clarity. Because suddenly I understood this was not the worst night of my life. It was the night they made a mistake they would never be able to undo. And before anyone could speak again, my phone buzzed with a second alert. Transfer completed, not from me, from them. For a few seconds after the alert, no one moved. Even the air in the room felt stunned. Mateo was the first to react. He stepped toward me quickly, trying to see the screen in my hand. "What did you just do?" he demanded. I didn't answer, because the truth was, I hadn't done anything. Another notification appeared. Corporate control updated, emergency voting rights executed. My stomach tightened. This wasn't part of their plan. I could see it in their faces. Valeria's smile slipped. My mother lowered her glass slowly, like the night had suddenly turned unpredictable. "What does that mean?" she asked. "Good question." I opened the company dashboard. The ownership structure was changing in real time. Shares were shifting, accounts freezing, access levels being rewritten. Then I saw the name attached to the override. My father, dead for 6 years, or at least, That was what we had all believed. A memory slammed into me. 2 months earlier, a letter from an unknown law office, something about an updated trust, something I had ignored because life was already too loud. Now the silence in the living room felt like pressure building in a sealed room. Mateo grabbed my wrist. "Stop whatever you're doing," he said, voice low and sharp. Pain shot up my arm. That was new. He had always preferred manipulation to force. "You're hurting me," I said. He didn't let go. "Sign the papers," he insisted, "or this gets worse for you." Valeria stepped closer. "Don't be dramatic," she snapped. "You always make everything about you." About me. The words tasted bitter. I looked at her, really looked, and suddenly all the years of small humiliations lined up perfectly. Her borrowing my clothes without asking, her crying until I paid her rent, her flirting with Mateo and calling it harmless. This wasn't sudden betrayal. It was a slow education in how disposable I was. My phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't an alert. It was a call. Private number. I answered before I could think. A man's voice filled my ear. Calm, professional. "Ms. Cortez, this is Attorney Ruiz. I represent the late Alejandro Cortez's estate." My heart slammed once against my ribs. "I believe you're currently being pressured to transfer assets," he continued. "I need you to listen carefully. Do not sign anything." Mateo's grip tightened as if he sensed danger through my silence. "Your father placed a conditional control clause on all family businesses," the lawyer said. "If coercion or financial manipulation is detected, emergency authority shifts automatically to you alone." The room spun. To me. Not Mateo. Not the family trust. Not the people who had spent years treating me like a walking bank account. Just me. "What about the transfer that just completed?" I whispered. "That," the lawyer replied, "was us freezing their attempt. And there's more. Funds were already diverted from your accounts this week. We have evidence." Evidence. The word felt like oxygen after drowning. Mateo yanked the phone from my hand and ended the call. "What did he say?" he demanded. I met his eyes. For the first time that night, I smiled. A small, dangerous smile that made him step back without understanding why. "He said you made a mistake," I answered. My mother stood up suddenly. "You ungrateful girl," she hissed. "After everything we've done for you." Everything. The debts, the lies, the years of being told I was lucky to belong. Another notification flashed. Fraud investigation request filed. Financial accounts under review. Valeria went pale. Mateo swore under his breath. Outside, I could hear the faint sound of sirens growing closer. Real ones this time. Not imagination. Not background noise. The night was no longer private, and as Mateo realized that, his expression changed from confidence to something far more dangerous. He moved toward the front door and locked it. Then he turned back to me, slowly. "You're not going anywhere," he said. When Mateo locked the door, I didn't argue. I reached for my bag, slowly. He watched every movement. "Looking for another lawyer?" he sneered. I ignored him. Instead, I placed 3 things on the dining table. My car keys, a slim voice recorder, and a printed bank authorization form. Valeria stopped pacing. My mother leaned forward. Mateo frowned, because none of those things were in their plan. I pressed play. His voice filled the room. Clear, calm, confident. "She'll panic if we threaten custody first. Lina always folds when it comes to the boy." The recording continued, Valeria laughing, my mother discussing which assets to sell first, Mateo promising everything would be transferred before I figured out the numbers. Silence hit harder than shouting. Mateo lunged for the recorder. I slid it away. Too late. The doorbell rang. Perfect timing. He froze. I smiled for the first time that night. "You really thought I came home unprepared?" I asked. My mother rushed to the window. Police lights painted the walls blue. Valeria's hands started shaking. "You called them?" she whispered. "No," I said. "I scheduled them." That was the truth. 3 days earlier, when the first suspicious transfer appeared, I didn't confront anyone. I duplicated access logs, forwarded emails, triggered a silent audit clause my father had hidden in the company charter. Then I waited. I let them believe I was tired, distracted, cornered. People show their real strategy when they think you've already lost. Mateo backed toward the hallway. "Listen," he said quickly. "We can fix this. You don't need to do this." I slid the bank form toward him. His signature was already highlighted. Forgery. Unauthorized loan request. Enough to bury him. "You fixed it for me," I replied. The door opened. 2 officers stepped inside. Behind them, Attorney Ruiz. He didn't waste time on introductions. He placed another folder beside mine. Transaction trails, security footage, copies of Valeria's emails negotiating how to divide my properties. Humiliation spread across their faces like heat. Valeria started crying. My mother tried to speak, then stopped. Mateo stared at the evidence as if numbers could still be negotiated. "They'll ruin your reputation too," he muttered. I picked up my keys. "No," I said. "You already tried that." The officers took his arm. Neighbors were watching from their porches now. Phones raised, lights on. Public consequences, exactly where betrayal hurts most. As they led him outside, he turned back once. "You think this is over?" he shouted. I didn't answer, because at that exact moment my phone buzzed again. Another alert, another account, another signature. This one wasn't his. I looked down and felt the satisfaction in my chest turn slowly into something colder, much colder.